A little piece of me cries inside every time I hear someone say they're $20,000 in debt and still ignoring TikTok Shop. Nick Fowler was 20K in debt as well, and now he's done over 22 million in sales on TikTok Shop. He not only did millions in sales by himself on TikTok Shop, but he also did the same thing for his mother and his sister. And his sister is now the #1 creator in home decor on TikTok Shop. Crazy. As much as this episode is about finding success on TikTok Shop, it's about recognizing opportunity before it passes and giving yourself permission to try something completely different, even if you fail first. Here's exactly what permission sounds like from Nick himself.
In that moment when you were 20 grand in debt, did you have the money to pay that off, or what did you end up doing did you even have the money to do anything there, or did you have to get a different job for a short period of time?
No, my wife and I were moving from Hawaii to San Diego because the military was stationing me in San Diego. I had just finished my deployment tours and everything out of Hawaii, and I'm now in instructor duty, so I teach now in a classroom setting. And as I was moving, I was also starting and launching that brand, and so it was a huge time of like launching something and moving. It was just terrible timing, but that happened, and I was like, oh my gosh, I barely can pay for the debt of this. And also we just moved into a place and then we have a ton of moving fees and, just like life things. That's actually where I came into the decision of doing TikTok Shop, was right around that time, because I was like, I need money. And so failure at that point wasn't really an option because I have to make the money. Like I have to make money.
Okay, Nick, so you have become the TikTok Shop expert pretty quickly and fairly recently, at least to the public eye. With that being said, I did some digging myself trying to learn, and you came up on my YouTube feed. And I'm like, okay, we got to learn a lot from this guy. So before we dive into like all the details of TikTok Shop, meaning I'm sure a lot of people now have been like, people are making 50K months. Like, is that something that's easy to do? So before we get into the details of like if that's true or if not, or how you'd even do that, really, can you define to us what is TikTok Shop and how does it operate? Like, how is it different than anything that we've actually seen before on social media?
Yeah, really good question. I'm also super excited to be here. It's pretty fun. I love talking about it too, especially with people that don't really know much about it, because it's like we can kind of dive really deep. But yeah, so basically TikTok Shop, what it is like, it's a closed loop system of a marketplace. So imagine Amazon, except you can now see creators promoting products. And when you decide to purchase, it's a closed loop system. So you don't have to like go to an external website to purchase from that creator. And so it makes it a lot easier for us to sell these products to consumers. And it makes it a lot like easier for them to purchase, which makes it a lot better for you to make sales and make money. So making a ton of income off of it as a creator becomes very, I would say, not easy, but a lot easier. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
by closed loop, do you mean like, if I'm referencing Amazon, so to speak, like in order for me to actually get on Amazon or even sell a product on Amazon, like there's this entire approval process, like the process becomes easier, more seamless? Like, what's the difference between open and like a closed loop system for reference for our audience?
yeah, good question. So basically, like imagine normally when you see an ad on your feed, whether that's like Instagram or something, you click on that ad and you want to purchase that product. It's going to send you and direct you to an external website, whether it's their website or Shopify or some other website, basically. And then you have to go through a million hoops as a consumer to buy that product. Like you have to click a million buttons till you finally get to purchase. Whereas on TikTok, you can literally just see the video, click the button on the video, and then click buy now, and immediately it gets shipped to your door. So it's very, very seamless for the consumer, and it makes it very easy to, I guess, make a sale as a person who's creating content.
So the second piece of this is like, okay, so it's easier for creators and sellers now from a buyer standpoint, meaning like if I see a product in a reel, I can buy it very, very easily simply by clicking a button. How can you now even be a creator that sells on TikTok Shop, or the opposite side? Like, how do you become a seller? Is there a vetting process and approval process like Amazon, or is it something that I could just go do today?
Really good question. Yeah. So as a creator, it's going to be harder to be a creator than it is to be a seller, actually. Seller, as far as I'm aware, I'm not a seller, but I have gotten a seller account and I have sold product before. I just didn't do it very often because the creator aspect actually made me a lot more money. So I just did that. But yeah, so to be a creator, for example, which is probably most of your audience would probably want to be a creator, I'm assuming. That's like, if you're trying to get entry level into a business at all, I think TikTok Shop affiliate, being a creator, is the best way to do it right now, because you can really get your foot in the door, start making some money, and then become a seller if you so want to. But yeah, right now you need 5,000 followers. You can get 1,000 followers and you can start the program, but in reality, you're not going to be able to make much sales at 1,000 followers. You need 5,000 because then you get access to posting as much as you want. So I say 5,000 followers. You have to be in an eligible country, which you can look that up. You need to be in good standing with TikTok, I think, as well, which that's pretty simple. But basically, it's 5,000 followers.
So give us now perspective, because we kind of teased like, okay, this can be successful for creators to do. And we've also kind of given them now a little bit of a foundation of how we do it. How do we close the gap? Meaning, how do we get to the revenue that you're generating on a monthly basis? Like, can you give us some insight into how long it took you to grow your following, what you are making on a month-over-month basis now, and what you are doing to actually consistently generate that same revenue every single month?
Yeah, so kind of how I started was I was just trying to grow a following just because I thought it'd be fun. And I was posting like country music clips from like YouTube onto TikTok. I would just like clip country music videos because I thought it was fun. I liked it. And I grew that following to like 120,000 followers on TikTok. And I never did anything with it. I never monetized off of it in any way. And I was like, oh, I'm just like doing this for fun. And then I kind of like got bored of it. And then I heard TikTok Shop came around, and I was like, let me try to do that. But it's completely different than like my country music clips. It had no relation whatsoever. So I started selling like tech products, and it was like making a ton of money really quickly. Like,
And you're like, what the hell?
yeah, literally, I was like, this has nothing to do with my audience. Like, it was, I think so. My first full month doing TikTok Shop as a creator, making the content, never really made content, never showed my face online, to be honest, truly gotten onto it. I made 59,000 in profit, in personal profit, my first full month doing it, which was like, that was like, there's no, like every other business you hear about, they're like, it takes a long time and it
You're
takes
like,
like X amount of
what
like, yeah, like I had no experience in business whatsoever. And I was like, how is this money just stumbling into my lap? So it was definitely very different than most situations. And I think that still is available. I think that opportunity is still there with TikTok Shop where people can make that much money in their first month, but it's not as common, I would say, as it was, a year and a half ago now. But it's definitely still there. I mean, I see people doing it all the time. It's just not as common, but yeah.
So like, was it one product that you did? Was it multiple? Like, were you just pumping out content at this time and then one product hit? Like, what actually got you to that first $50,000 month?
Yeah, so I definitely was pushing out volume, like a ton of volume. TikTok is all about volume, and so you're not really gonna tarnish your audience if you're pushing a ton of volume because your audience never sees your content anyway, surprisingly. So, yeah, I was pushing out a ton of stuff. I was just getting products left and right and just pushing it, just trying different things. I was like, let me just try this, and I'm gonna try this style and this method, and just like doing random things until I saw things that worked, and I would study the data of the videos that were performing, and I'd be like, okay, this one got a little bit more views, and this one didn't, and then I would kind of like negate the ones that didn't, and then take over the ones that did, and kind of implement that for the next video,
Yeah.
and I just kept doing that, and within that first month, it was just like all of them were not doing well, and then boom, like one of them took off, and that was when I made like $20,000 in profit a single day. And it was just like a skyrocket number where I was making like, yeah, like I remember I was making like $900 my first, like, I never even really checked it. I was just like, whatever. I checked it and I made $900 in a single day. And I was like, what the heck? And then like the next day was like 3,000. The next day was like $8,000 in profit. So, yeah, it was like, I think it was just a combination of different things, whether that be the products I selected, the styles I was using, and the trustworthiness that I was able to build with it, with the video itself.
So that was the next question that I was going to ask you that got put into my brain is like, from iterating and pushing so much volume, is there a framework that you now recognize as like, hey, this is a high converting framework as well as products? Like, is there a product sweet spot as well that you should be looking at or isolating to?
Good question too. Yeah, there is frameworks. There are like like proven frameworks that are like, hey, statistically these are the things that work. And TikTok even kind of openly says what those things are too.
Mm.
But and I teach a lot of the frameworks as well. But like to be honest, the main thing is like, do you come off trustworthy and can you really demonstrate this product correctly early on in the video? Because if you can show the product solving whatever problem that the average person has, they're going to be like, oh, that's pretty interesting. I have that problem. They're going to want to stay. And then if you can be trustworthy with them and build that trust with them and show them that, hey, I used this product myself and this is the result I got from it, you're going to sell people like crazy, especially if there's some type of urgency to purchase. Like, hey, this thing's on a flash deal, or this is on a huge discount or something like that. Like they're going to purchase. So it's kind of like that framework. You're like demonstrating it, building trust, and then selling. So it's kind of like that framework basically. But uh, trust is like the number one thing because everyone's like feels like they're being sold to all the time nowadays. So it's like, how can you pull them away from that feeling?
How about on the product selection piece too? Like, is there something to be said about a $10 product versus a $200 product? Is it more the niche that you're trying to work in that you know stuff about, or should you be targeting certain products over others?
Yeah, I think if you're starting on TikTok and you haven't done this ever before, go with anything you can get. Get any product you can, try any niche you can, try tons of different products until you finally hit something that kind of works for you. And you're like, hey, consistently I'm seeing like tech products work for me, which is what happened to me. I didn't think I'd get tech products out, to be honest. I had no idea what I'd do, but it just fell into my lap and it started working. And I was like, hey, I'm really selling a lot of these. Now, do I think you need to always do just that product then? No. Or that style or that niche? No. But I find that like a lot of people, they resonate better with certain products and they don't even know that they do. Like, for example, I was just mentoring this guy, Miguel, and he had no idea. He's a construction worker. He works a 9 to 5 and he had no idea like how to do this stuff. And he started doing skincare products out of the blue. Like a 9 to 5 guy, like had no relation to skincare, but just was like, I'll just try it. And then he used like some stuff, I forget what it is, and he used it on his under eyes because he has like bags under his under eyes, and he used it and it actually worked. And he was like, I'm a 9 to 5 construction dude, and this stuff worked for me. And so he resonated a lot with the other guys that are like him, and that sold like crazy. Sorry, did my screen cut out?
No, you're good.
Okay, my screen just
see you.
cut out for me. Okay.
I see you. You're good.
So yeah, he did that and it like sold like a ton. Like I mean a ton of money. Like even my wife, who doesn't watch any TikTok shop stuff, was like, "Oh, I know who that guy is. I watch his stuff." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "How do you know this? This is so
Yeah.
crazy." So yeah, like even situations like that. That's why I say like promote anything you can get because you don't know. Maybe you do actually resonate with a product that you wouldn't otherwise think you would. So
So it's more of like a, if there's anything that I'm hearing out of this, it's not like a verbatim word by word necessarily approach. It's more of if you can introduce the problem that people can relate to and deliver the solution and the product becomes the solution, it's much more easier to convert on.
100%, yeah. And if you can like you can use your problems to your advantage more. People think that they have like whatever, like I look like this or I am this type of person or I have a really messy home, like, and so I can't do this, and they think negatively with that when in reality that's actually a superpower for them because other people are like them, and if they just use a product that solved that problem or helped solve that problem, they will sell so much. Like another example, a girl I know, she use this kind of tummy tucking like leggings. It like tucks her stomach in. And a lot of people, a lot of girls would be like, I can't do this because I don't look like the skinny girls online or whatever the people would say. And then she's like, well, I'll just use it to my advantage to sell a product that would solve that problem. And it made her a ton of money. So it's like, you know,
I think on Kalo data, I saw that as one of like the top selling products like right now. I'm not even
yeah.
gonna lie. I'll give you a reference to one that I think was, because obviously leading up to us having this conversation, I'm scrolling through, I'm like trying to think about products that like would perform well and even introduce. So there's one that came across that I want to use as an example. I don't know if you've seen this product, you may have. So have you seen this magnet that's like a waist belt clip for like construction workers or people with tools?
Oh, wait. Yeah. Okay. I have seen it. Okay.
So got a couple of those videos and I'm like, problem solution here is done so well. So you basically had someone do, you know, when someone does like a duo video where it's like them and them, but putting on two different characters.
Mhm.
So basically one was like the construction worker that had the belt clip and one was the construction worker that didn't have the belt clip. So they had like the box of nails, they had the multiple tools, they had to go in and out of the tool bag. This dude that had the belt clip just kept snapping the hammer to his belt clip, or had a whole thing of nails and just snapped the nails right to the magnet and sat right there. So I'm like, this is so well done. You literally have problem solution, and you're also showing like good efficient construction worker versus like, I'll say bad construction worker, but realistically just like you're making your life easier. Like one life is harder, the other life is easier, but you're getting the same thing done. And the product itself was, I think, maybe like 10, 12 bucks. So I'm thinking like, not only from a Christmas perspective, I'm like, dude, my father's the handiest guy in the world. Like he's going to love this thing. Right. That's like the one half of it. But then like the second half of it is like, I could also impulse buy it. Meaning, let's say I get it at $10 and I'm like, you know what? It's a really good gift, but he's like, I'm not going to wear it. Well, it's $10. So I'm like, it's at least worth the effort to buy. So is there some sort of psychology in that on where like there's no harm, no foul on purchasing like a lower ticket item than like a higher ticket item where I may have to establish more of that trust with my actual consumer before they're going to actually buy the product?
Yeah, and it's a tough question because it's a double-edged, well, it's not a double-edged sword, but it can go both ways.
Okay.
So a
Tell me.
lower priced product is way easier to sell, but more likely it's lower margins that the creator can get. So because the company has so many fees, TikTok takes so much fees, they take so much like you got distribution of the product, you have manufacturing costs, you have shipping costs, you have so many like fees that are incurred for the brand that it really takes away a lot of margin for the creator in a lot of ways, because the creator probably, I would say, is like the person who gets the lowest amount in that. I mean, well, TikTok takes fees too, but or that are lower than that. But yeah, you're only going to get, maybe say it's a $10 product, like you're probably going to get like 50 cents per product, which, if you're selling a ton, then you're making, 50 cents for a ton of sales. But you have to really hope that that video goes super viral and that product is really in demand, or else you're only going to make, a couple $100 maybe on a millions of view video. Whereas if you get a high price product, you could get a lot more margin out of that. And it might not sell as many, but I think the I don't know what the term is, but you're going to get more money. You're going to get more money for the amount of views.
There's like
Generally.
there's like a trade-off in between. I could see
Yeah.
that. It's like, because at that point you may only need 2,500, let's say 3,000 views to get a similar conversion rate or amount of profit as you would say 200,000 views, but you're selling them at a 50% commission check
Mhm.
each single time. I could totally see that. So to break this down a little bit more for our audience, and you can clarify if the structure is wrong. So I'm a creator. I now get to 5,000 followers, and we'll get into like what's our quickest way to get to 5,000 followers if we're trying to do it fast. But I'm a creator. I just hit 5,000 followers. I now go to TikTok Shop, and there should be a section for me that says like apply as a
Mhm.
creator. I apply as a creator, and then from there, I can now start picking products. And by picking products, am I asking for free samples? And then they send me free samples. And then each one of those has a specific commission on it. So I already know what I might be getting paid based off of selling that. And then from there, I go create a video. I tag the product in it. And then if someone sees the video, they click on that product, they check out, I collect a small commission based off of that sale. Is that pretty much how it works?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it works. And
Okay.
I mean, that's the thing also is that TikTok has its algorithm and it's very separated. This kind of not off topic, but they're kind of separated where TikTok Shop is separate than the typical like TikTok feed, where
Okay.
there's more metrics that go into place on TikTok's algorithm or TikTok Shop's algorithm to where they are incorporating sales as well. So if say you got a sale but your video has terrible views and it's terrible retention rates, it's not getting any likes or shares, which is also very common for a TikTok Shop because who wants to like an ad, right? So it's like their number one metric is sales. Like if you're making sales on a video, then they don't care about the other metrics. The other metrics matter if you're not making sales, but if you're making sales, like they're just going to keep pushing it because they're like, hey, it's converting. So that's what they're really looking at a lot of times, which I find very interesting.
So that's where you shouldn't really get lost in the view count of your videos, more on the conversion rates, because TikTok themselves is prioritizing conversion over actual view count.
100%. Yeah. And I mean, your views, you could get super viral views and not get any sales. Like that happens a lot too. But oftentimes it depends on like, did I make a bad video that didn't really sell people the product correctly? Or did I pick a bad product that's very viral, but it's no one wants it, right? Like I've seen videos like that all the time. Like, hey, that was very entertaining, but I'm not going to buy this. Like, I don't want it. Right. So it's like those things happen all the time too. I've even had that. I even did that just as a case study to prove to people that it's possible. I was like, hey, look, I'm going to make a very viral video and it's not going to sell like any. And I think I sold one and I had like 700,000 views. And I was like, it happens. Like, cause I made a really viral video, but no one wants this product because I knew no one wanted the product. I just wanted to
Yeah.
prove the point. So it's like, that can happen.
I mean, and to your point, the video was just good to capture people's attention, but the product was not something that people actually wanted to buy.
Hmm.
So now let's talk to the second piece here. You said we should try to get to 5,000 followers. Let's take the lens that we want to get there as fast as possible because our route is to open up a TikTok shop. Let's say it's not to build a personal brand or like just be a general creator. It's like, hey, we want to sell on TikTok shop. What is the easiest or quickest way for us to actually get to 5,000 followers?
Good question. Yeah. So I hear this one a lot. There's so many different ways you could do it. I like to take the route of what am I good at and what am I passionate about? Like what kind of unique feature do I have in my life that I can monetize or not monetize, but like make content around?
Mm.
So for me, as an example, like I'm in the military. So I could talk about the military full time or like how I do this job, like this thing in the military, or this is my job, or this is my day in the life. I don't know, something, because that's unique to me. And I know that the general population isn't like that. And so I could talk about that. And so there's something everybody has. I promise you, everybody has something, whether that's your hobby, the work that you do. That's usually the ones that people do. But there's something. And then you kind of just like go study the people that are doing that already and say, okay, you think in your head, okay, how can I counter position to what they're doing? Like what are they not doing and what could I do in that and bring to the table? And if you do that, you could probably build a following pretty quick as long as you are posting consistently, and you could probably get to that 5,000 followers. And then at that point, you could choose to either go the full personal brand route or you can completely pivot to going to doing TikTok shop ads, and it won't matter either way.
Is there, from like a posting consistently lens, is that once a day, 3 times a day? Is there too much, too little? Like, what is posting consistently look like that gets us to that 5,000 followers?
Just on a cadence. So you have to have some type of cadence to yourself, and that's dependent on you and like what you're able to do. Just understanding that the less you post, the longer it's going to take, generally speaking.
Can you
But
post too much?
no, TikTok doesn't really have a posting too much thing that I've seen. I think
Okay.
it's more just quality and quantity, and everyone has that debate all the time of quantity versus quality. That debate's everywhere, but in my eyes, it's you do quantity to start, and then the quantity informs your quality. So
Okay.
I post as much as possible. I see what's working. I study the data of the things that worked, and then I start to refine down. It's almost like it's called the accordion effect. So you're kind of starting really wide, and you narrow it down until you get to the ones that worked and the styles that worked, the frameworks that worked. And then you're like, okay, these are the things that worked. I'm going to keep doing that. And then you'll start to see significant more views as long as you're studying your data. And yeah, you'll start to grow following pretty quick.
Before we kind of not pivot, but we get more into the details of doing this, there was one overarching question that kept coming up in my brain, especially in this age of AI. Have you used AI for TikTok Shop in order for you to sell products, or have you found that UGC content, user generated content, is pretty much the only way to perform on TikTok? And maybe it's different on Instagram versus TikTok. Like, is there any debate there that says like AI isn't the avenue, or is it just as leverageable as UGC content?
I love this question. So I like to look at it from the lens of the consumer. So if I'm a consumer and I want to buy something online, would I rather buy it from somebody that's obviously AI, or would I rather buy it from somebody that I see that I feel like relates to me in some way as an actual person? And right now, currently, it's still very obvious if something's AI or pretty close, especially with ads with products involved in them. Like if you're trying to show a product, it looks like it looks like AI still with the products. There are some realistic looking normal videos, but that's not TikTok Shop. TikTok Shop ads that are AI, it's pretty obvious still it's AI. So and they're just not good at like doing all the really important things in a video, like trust and urgency, and really showcasing the product correctly. So I think right now, currently, you need to do normal, like show yourself, use your leverage points of yourself in your videos. But I think there is an opportunity of AI being very, involved. I just don't think it's ever going to take away the true aspect of any type of creative work, because that's the thing that makes humans human, are the creative sides of things. Like that's something that a computer, I don't think, can take away. That's, I think, the only thing that computers can't take away is the creative end of a human. So I don't know. That's
Have
just
you
my thought.
tested it? Have you
Yeah,
tested it?
I've tested not AI ads, but I've used AI in certain aspects, like doing voiceovers for me and stuff. I've tested that, and it just isn't as good. Like I just never found it to be as good. I've actually, funny story, the number one creator on TikTok right now, he had his voice stolen for AI, and these companies are using his voice for other
Creative work.
products, and they're using the same scripts that he wrote and made, and they're changing few words in there to make it their products, and they're using that voice and making their own ads with their own videos, but it's his voice and his script, and they're
Not his
stealing it.
face though, just
Not
his
his
voice and his
face,
script.
yeah, just the voiceover. And they're making so much money. I remember seeing one video, it was like millions and millions of views, and they obviously made so much money from it. And I messaged it to him, and I was like, hey man, like they're doing this to you on this video, and he's like, what the heck? So that's another issue, is like, as a creator, like that stuff can happen.
Yeah.
But they'll always be one step behind you, if that makes sense. Like as the creator, you'll always be one step ahead because you're the creator. Like it's like everyone trying to mimic Mr. Beast, right? Like no one will ever be as good as Mr. Beast, even if they decide to steal his voice, right? So it's like there's that aspect too.
Because he is the standard. Like he's
Yeah.
setting the standard, and they're more or less saying this performed well for them. Let's copy and paste and use it for ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's dive a little bit more into the details, because I want to give really what I want to do for everybody listening today is give them everything that they can to try and be successful diving into TikTok Shop after building their following first. So, from a research standpoint, is there any tools that you use to get a better gauge on what products are performing well versus which ones are not, which ones may be in season versus which ones are not? Let's say I built my following to 5,000 followers. And let's say for me, big reference is I'm a pickleball guy, right? So I built my account to 5,000 followers around pickleball. So I probably would end up starting with some products in the pickleball space, or thinking about those first. Like, where can I validate that idea? Where is pickleball products actually performing well, or are they not? Is there any tools that you use that assist you in that process?
Good question too. Yeah. So there's websites like fastmoss.com. There's websites like kalodata.com, which you had mentioned earlier. Those ones are good. I think when you're starting, you're going to get overwhelmed using platforms like that.
Okay.
And I don't think it's necessary. So when I teach and I mentor people, I say, hey, go just like search for products or search for other creators' videos that are performing with products that you would want to promote, right? And go off of those, because it's going to be a lot simpler for you. And when you're starting, the sole goal once you are making videos on TikTok Shop is to just improve the videos and pick better products. Like those are the two avenues you should focus all your attention on. If you're doing anything else, you're wasting your time, or your time could be better spent somewhere else. So a lot of people like get into the weeds about all these different topics, like, well, how do I do, like, what time should I post and what hashtag should I use? And the algorithm apparently changed, and like all these things that don't matter at all. It's like, I'm sorry, but like my mom, she had never had the TikTok app. We made her download the app. We taught her how to make videos correctly. And then we taught her how to pick products. That's all she knew. And she was making $20,000 in profit a month by her third month. So it's like, you don't even need to know what the terms mean. Like my wife had no idea what GMV stood for, which is gross market value, but it's like, it's basically sales. She didn't even know what that was. And she was making $2,000 a month in her second month. So it's like, you don't even need to know what any of that stuff is. You just need to make good videos, pick good products. So it's like, those websites are good to kind of round this up. Like those websites are good, but I think that's good. Like once you start like really get your foot in the door and you start like really getting the foundation of everything done. But at the beginning, it's just going to overwhelm you and you're going to end up quitting if you just like really involved in that stuff.
So like I think that's really good advice, first off. So you using your wife and your mother as an example here. You said in like their first couple months, your mother was doing like 20K a month in profit and your wife was doing 2K. In that case scenario, did you just give them products that you thought more than likely would end up converting well for them, or did they do it randomly and kind of get lucky in that aspect? Like, was there guidance with them as well that allowed them to have that success like right off the rip?
Yeah, good question too. So yeah, my mom, for example, she took a lot of my sister's products because they live next to each other. She took a lot of my mom's or my sister's products. She just used the same frameworks. She was just like, okay, these are the frameworks that are working on these other creators. And then she just kind of like did that and like did that right. But yeah, it was a huge part of the product for my mom. That's the reason that my mom took off really early was one, her videos were already really good because she studied really well and implemented it correctly. But the biggest part was that she picked the right products really early on. And that's the thing that most creators are going to suffer with when they're starting is that they don't have access like my mom did to those products that were sitting in my sister's home right there. So that's the thing that's going to make it a slower climb for most creators, but that doesn't mean you can't. Like some people are be like, I'm going to invest in like buying the product outright and not get a free sample. And that will help you get up there quicker as long as you're picking the right ones. So that's why I say it's like, it totally depends. Like I see people, I just saw another girl made like 30 grand in profit her first month, but it's because she just went out and outright bought a bunch of products and did a ton of really good product research. But again, that's not always as common. So
Wait, why? So tell me why the buying the products outright versus getting the free samples is beneficial in some cases.
well, so you're kind of investing in your own abilities, right? You're kind of being like, okay, I'm taking the risk that this product is going to be worth like buying and I'm going to make my money back. So you're kind of doing that when you're buying a product. And so there's risk involved in that. Like you're like, hey, I'm spending money and I might not make this money back. So that kind of sucks. But or you could go the free route and just get free samples and build your way up to the really, probably more viral, high ticket products that are probably selling.
Gotcha. So they're not giving you free samples of high ticket products, which
Probably
makes
not at the beginning, no. If you're a beginning creator, you have no sales under your belt, you're probably going to get the lower end products that these brands are like, we're just desperate. We just want to give out anything to anybody. Like those are the brands you're probably going to get.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of build your way up there in some ways. But that also doesn't mean that you don't have products laying around your house that you could sell too. Like most of us, like right now, have tons of products that are already on TikTok Shop. You could start making money on those right now. So that's also an option.
I'll give one product, not a product plug at all, but it's just because I use it. So like I use NeuroGum because I'm very active on the court, and it's kind of like the perfect hit sometimes to just keep me going, right? There you go. So one of the first products that I thought of, I'm like, dude, I chew this shit every single day. Like, is it something that I could sell on TikTok Shop? First off, a lot of people are selling it on TikTok Shop. Very popular product, but it makes sense why it's a popular product, right? It's a very low cost product. A lot of people are using it and it performs very, very well. So like with that being said, it seems like you have it next to you too. I think there's many people that can relate to that. There's a piece in there that I don't want to overlook that you told me about. You talked about your sister. So your sister actually was the #1 creator for home decor in 2025 on TikTok Shop, which is kind of crazy. So what did her metrics look like, and how did she get from being introduced to TikTok Shop by you to then becoming the #1 TikTok Shop creator?
Yeah, good question too. So I'll kind of talk about her story as much as I can.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not her, but I basically when I started doing this, my sister's also very similar to me, where she likes to start random projects and side hustles or whatever. And she was also pregnant with her second child, and she was like, I need some extra money. Like they needed her and the family needed some extra money, and she was like, I want to start this. And I was making, I think, like at the time she decided to start, I think I'd made like I think 100 grand at that point in profit, and it was my second month doing it total. I think I'd made like 100 grand in profit in 2 months, my first 2 months, and I was like, what the heck? And she was like, I got to start this. So she started, and at the time she saw me making 59,000 my first month, and she hadn't made like almost anything her first month. She was like, this sucks. And then she'd been posting a ton, and then her second month comes and she hadn't made anything again. And then her third month comes and she finally made like 70 grand in profit. And like it went from like nothing to like 70 grand like the next month. It was insane jump. And she was like, whoa, what the heck? It was like a complete 180 from where she was at. And she was, in that moment feeling discouraged because she was like, I'm, 3 months in, I'm not making any money. Whereas my brother is making all this money within his first month. So it kind of was discouraging for her. even though, 3 months in making 70 grand is insane, but like, that's like how her headspace was. And then since then, she was just like, really in tune with it. She was like, okay, I'm going to study my butt off with this stuff. So she studied all those videos that converted, all the reasons why, picked the right products, and just kept doing it. And she's probably the most consistent earning creator on the platform, I would say. She's been consistently over $50,000 profit every month since she started. And I think some months are $113,000 in profit a single month. And she did like back-to-back 100K months in profit. And yeah, I think she's done over $10 million in sales, or maybe $11 million in sales now. And they basically gave her an award at TikTok for the #1 in the home category for 2024 or 2025. I can't remember, but yeah.
So give us a little bit more detail, because I think this is a perfect example of how you can be successful on TikTok Shop. Like, what were the products that she was actually doing in home decor, if they were, or did she start with products outside that category? And then from there, how did she end up iterating on her frameworks? Like, what was the framework that she used that actually ended up taking off? And then how did she iterate on it to be so consistent now, where she's having consistently 50K plus months?
Yeah, good questions too. I think, well, first she started with everything she could get. She tried any type of
Anything.
product. Yeah, she just tried everything. And then the home products were the ones that started selling. But she only found that out when she had I believe it was the Homika vacuum cleaner or something. It was a vacuum cleaning device. So she did a video and it got like 30 million views or 20 million views. And it was just like her picking up coffee or rice on the ground. And she was the first person to start doing it like that, like doing those visual style videos of picking up, rice and coffee grounds and stuff. So it was very visual looking. And she was like, whoa, this really like took off. And so what she did, she looked back at that video, saw exactly how she did that framework and how she structured the video, what she said, kind of used her intuition to see like, okay, why is it that people are deciding to stop on this video and purchase? And then just took those same things and implemented it into another video. And then it got another like 30 million views. And then she was like, okay, now that one got 30 million views. How do I take the things that work from that one and then make another one, but add something else to it? Maybe make it, more visual, more crazy, like just kind of one-upping the previous video that worked. And it just kept doing it. She just kept making videos that just kept converting for that vacuum cleaner. And then she was like, okay, now vacuum cleaners are working. What's something that's similar that I could pivot to that's like this product that are working? So she went more home again, more home products, and was like, okay, this nail polish holder, and like did that one and it worked, and just tons of different stuff. So she's kind of just like really studying the video and like the psychology, the social psychology behind them.
Let me flip the coin and play
Yeah.
a little, like, not devil's advocate, but I want to use the lens of, were there any products through this time, super curious about this, that you were like, damn, this product is going to convert, and it just flopped? Meaning, like, you found the product, it aligned with all of your frameworks, and you're like, why the hell did it not work? And like, was there any products that were like that? And can you tell us like how you dissected that didn't work?
Good question too. This is funny because it's pretty much almost every video. Like almost every video is like that. That's the thing. It's a numbers game. Like I call it like the lottery. Every TikTok shop video is like the lottery system. So it's like I'm posting like 1,000 videos on TikTok, and it would be like maybe 50 of them are going to go very viral, and those are the ones that are going to convert for you and make a ton, right? Like it just depends per person and how you do things. But like, yeah, I think I posted 1,000 videos my first year, and I think maybe 50 to 100 made me all my money for the most part. So it's like you're kind of playing that lottery system.
So you
I don't
what
know if
you're
that answered your question. Sorry, I kind of like
you're good. No. So in summary, really what you're getting at is, pretty much every time you post a video, you're having the thought process of like, this product's going to do well.
hmm
But what you're getting at is 9 out of 10 times it's pretty much failing.
hmm
And then you have to inevitably be like, okay, why did it fail?
Yeah.
What are the reasons that you then found that like a product that you were pretty sure on would convert failed? Is it just things like maybe it wasn't good timing, maybe it was seasonality, or is it something like the product itself just wasn't that good? Or was it my framework wasn't that good? Like, are you taking that level of dissection to figure out why it did not convert?
No, I kind of just post and forget for the most part, and I only study the ones that work. So the ones that don't work, I like to look at the ones that I put a lot of effort into that I really had a lot of belief in. Because there are those products, like for example, I just had one yesterday that I posted and I really put a good amount of effort into it because I was like, I know this would work because I can study the people that already used this product, see how they made their videos that went viral, use the same framework that obviously made it work and improve on it. Because if you can do that, like you're almost certain to make, I mean, not almost certain, but pretty close to a certain to make the same virality or better. And I've seen it so many times, I've done it myself. But that's like, I'd rather just study the ones that worked because it's like if I can just do the same things again, it'll do it again. But yeah, like I can look at tons of videos and be like, that one didn't work because, I didn't use the right framework or that product just didn't sell or they didn't have enough ad spend behind my video. Like, because companies can put money on your video and just pump up the numbers and make it skyrocket if it's converting for them and their ROI is good enough. So that's also a portion of it too. But maybe that company didn't have any ROI to do that and their product wasn't very visually appealing, so people didn't see it. So then no one bought it, right? So there's tons of different avenues that could make a video not work. But I really just focus on the ones that do. And the ones that do are like, hey, this video had this one hook. I'm going to reuse that hook for this product and this different thing. And that's where I see a lot of success.
Let's do a fun exercise. Are you down for this?
Yeah.
You're going to pretend that you're starting 0 flat. Okay. Brand new following. We're going to start from scratch. We're going to guide anybody listening right now that is in the same space through it. If you were to start from 0 today, where would you start right now? Is there a specific niche you start in with content? Like, where would you start to build us to that 5,000 person following as fast as possible? And then where would you start then with products to start converting on your first couple?
Good questions. So I would, if I wanted to start right now, and this is actually something I'm doing, like people at my work ask me this question. They're like, hey, I want to start. What are my avenues? And I go, okay, so depends. Do you want to go fast or slow? And if you want to go slow, it's going to be a lot cheaper. But if you want to go fast, it's going to cost. So which avenue do you want to
Let's
go
go fast first. Let's go
Okay.
fast first. Yeah.
So fast, if I'm like, okay, I need to make 10K within profit in 3 months, which I definitely think is possible. I would say, first off, I would just buy an account from somebody that already has.
That's something you could do?
Yeah, you can do that, which is actually something I offer in my mentorship. So basically, we'll give you an account. I just did it with my dad, actually. Funny enough, I just gave my dad a 100,000 follower TikTok account that is fully built with organic followers, real content, real followers, everything. It's in the TikTok Shop program, and they just give you the login. You change all the information. You make it your own. You get your own pass key, everything. So it becomes your full account, and right there you're immediately in. So you completely negate the whole 5,000 follower portion. So that cuts down a ton of time. And then at that point, I'm like, okay, now I'm in the program very fast. Now my goal is, okay, I need to go look around my house and scan items, which TikTok has a little scanning feature. You can scan to see if it's on TikTok Shop. I would scan like everything in my house, move it all into a corner of a room. And I'd go, okay, first product is this. I'm going to pull out my phone right now and just start posting and just make a video. I don't even care. I'm not going to learn about anything else. I'm just going to make a video right now and just learn by doing. And I would do that for about a month, just studying my data, posting, just trying new things, using my intuition, and do that for about a month. The second month, I am studying all of the previous videos, which ones worked, which ones didn't, even if it's a tiny bit. Like maybe I was averaging like 300 views and this one video got like 1,000 views. That's a standout video. So I'd study that. And then at that point, I would do 2 months like that, studying and re-implementing the things that would work previously. And then if that didn't work still, I would then go and look for probably coaching, to be honest. Like I'm kind of biased because I'm a coach too, but I would genuinely just go look online. There's tons of coaches on the space and I know all of them, and they're pretty much all of the big coaches are very I trust all of them. So I would look at them and say, okay, who do I resonate the most with? Is this person somebody I resonate with the most? And just find that person that you trust, and they're probably good. It's a pretty healthy space. And so I would go, okay, then that person, I feel like they're somebody I trust. I want to learn from them. and then just see their tactics and see how they edit, see how they structure their videos, and then kind of go off of those frameworks. And more than likely, if I'm posting consistently and I'm learning the product selection portion correctly, I could probably start making 10K pretty quick.
So the following base doesn't matter that much, is what you're kind of getting at. It's
Not
just
at all.
having the followers. Like
Yeah.
the niche that it's in doesn't matter at all.
Yeah,
Nice.
like my dad's account is I think it's like middle-aged women, but he's gonna post like hardware products because my dad likes hardware stuff. So it's like it has no relation whatsoever. You could be completely separate. TikTok's algorithm works in the sense that like every video is its own piece of algorithm. So like I could do a hardware product and it's going to reach the hardware guys, and I could do a skateboard and it's going to reach the skateboarders. So it knows based on the product's category where it's going to get pushed to. So your followers don't really matter at all.
So the reason I asked that is because I think a hot topic right now is the organic versus inorganic followings. And the reason that I'm saying that is because it kind of has been easier than ever. I don't know if you've gotten ads for things like, not diminishing anybody's products, but what I'm getting at is you have things like Plixie. Plixie was something that I get an ad for. There's another website where they're like, plug in your account. We're going to use AI to get you followers.
Oh, yeah, no.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So the reason that I'm getting at that and these inorganic versus organic followings is because, kind of like playing devil's advocate here, if you're getting at that the following doesn't matter, meaning that we're just saying like, hey, I need followers in order to sell on TikTok Shop, why would it matter for the consumer to not just go and buy these followers instead and get over that barrier?
Okay, so yeah, definitely don't do those methods. TikTok really knows when you're buying followers or if you're getting them not ethically. So if it seems like an ethical dilemma there, don't do it. But the thing with ours is that we build the accounts like with real posts and real content, like it genuinely gets built with real content with people that actually know how to build accounts. So it's all real. Whereas a lot of like people are like, oh, I'm going to go buy an account, and that account is like all fake followers because they just ran a ton of ads on a video and just tried to get followers, or they used AI, for example, or it's just bots, right? So that's like not good either. Whereas like we're getting real organic content, and basically when you get that account, again, let me preface by saying that if you're trying to buy an account from somebody, make sure you're getting it from somebody you truly believe or is in trust, because there are so many scams out there. I'm going to tell that right now. So I would say buying an account is not something I recommend unless you really trust the person you're doing it with. I obviously trust the person that I work with that does this, so it works for me. But don't just go and like search on Google right now and be like, I'm going to get this account. And then you just do it. Because I've done that before. My sister's done that before, and it was a huge failure. So just don't do that. But I forget where I was going to go with that. But yeah,
You're good. You're spot on. And the reason that I say that is because you were keying in on the fact that like TikTok knows, right? They're pretty damn good at identifying inorganic versus organic, where that account more than likely is going to get closed on you. Yeah. Meaning like 100%. They're going to figure out really quick that a lot of your following is not organic. And then before you know it, you're locked out of your account and it's over, right? Yep. They don't really give it back to you. Yeah. Let's play the other side of things, because it seems like the fast side in summary is like we're buying an account. We're pretty much testing all products, any products. Yeah. We're finding out which ones are converting for us. We're figuring out those frameworks. We're rinsing and repeating those frameworks until they realistically don't work anymore, and we need to find new ones. And then we keep doubling down on products in categories that may be working for us and doing it over and over and over again. And it seems like the kicker that you put there, which is like aligned with your father, is like if you can find products that are aligned with your knowledge base and your experience, it makes it much easier to actually sell them and talk about them.
Yeah, for sure. Because it'll be something related to your lifestyle. Like I could sell anything military related. Like I could sell it really well because I have my experience in it and I know about it. Whereas like if I wanted to try and sell like makeup or beauty products, I wouldn't even know where to start. So it's like I couldn't make a good ad. Whereas this girl's gonna like run me to the ground because she knows all about it, right? So it's like,
it's the relatability, it's the trust that you've lived it, you've done it before.
Yeah.
Let's go the other route now. So we did the fast route. Let's go the slow route now. What does the slow route look like?
So this is definitely a route that I would say probably will take you if you have no experience, I would say it's probably going to take you about 9 months to see success, which I mean, to be honest, is still really fast. Like,
Still pretty quick in the
yeah,
grand
that's
scheme of
still
things.
pretty
Yeah.
quick. To start making like 20K a month, like 9 months, pretty. And I know a girl named Laura who I'm also mentored. She wanted to go super slow route. Well, she wanted to go fast, but it was the slow route basically. And she's had crazy success actually. She's like number 5 on TikTok right now, and she's making like 50K a month, but it was super slow. It took her like 9 months. And I think that's pretty standard right now. And it seems like it's super slow, but in reality, like 9 months to make like 50K a month is pretty, like, what other industry do you do that in, right? But it's like people are so standard to seeing TikTok shop affiliates making 50K in their second month or something, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's taking me so long. It's really not. So yeah, if you want to do that route, if you're trying to take it slow and you want to make it free or very slow, basically, I would go first. I'm just gonna start posting and post within something that I know and educate myself around, whether it's my work or my passions or my hobbies, and start posting content around that and try to grow my following as fast as I can. It's probably going to take time. If you have no experience in social media at all, I would say that's probably going to take you like 3 months plus. It just depends. But I would say like 3 months is pretty typical in that regard.
So
And then once
you're pretty much a short form expert though too.
Hmm.
Like what I know, kind of dive into this as you're going through the slow road. Like, what are we looking at to try and get the highest converting short form videos? Like, are we also looking at bigger creators and kind of taking their frameworks, using those to try and get us reach as well? Like, can you talk a little about the strategy
Yeah.
of short form as
I
well?
can go a little more detail about a specific, like, this is what I would do for me. So say I don't know anything about content whatsoever, and I'm Nick Fowler and I'm in the military and I want to do it, right? I would go, okay, I want to educate people. I want to go the education route over entertainment route. I want to go education because you can get following up really fast on education space. And I am also an expert in the military, so I could talk about the military. So I'm going to make that my page. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and look at the other people that are teaching people about the military on TikTok. I'm going to go see how they're structuring their videos, how they framework, what are their most viral videos looking like, what are their kind of hooks that they use at the beginning of their videos, how do they frame them, and then how do they get followers from those videos as well? Like, what do they say at the end of their video? What's their call to action at the end? And if it's like, hey, if you guys found this helpful, click the follow button, right? If it's something like that, I would maybe steal that and use it for my own. And so I would start writing all these things down of like, what are my competitors doing? How can I stand out amongst my competitors? And then how much can I post consistently? So whether that's like one post every 3 days, whether that's one post a day, whether that's 10 posts a day, it's just dependent on you. And I would start doing that, get topics to write down and start talking about. And I would post and I would use those frameworks that are working against studying the content that worked previously and then re-implementing that for future videos, which I even still do on my personal coaching page. If you guys look at my stuff, you'll see like consistency in like series or like I'll have a playlist of a series, and those series are just like repeatable videos that I can consistently make over and over because they work. So I would do that, and I would just keep posting like that, studying the ones that worked, re-implementing new strategies and new styles until something takes off again. Keep doing that until you get to 5,000 followers. Once you're at 5,000 followers, the moment I'm in there, I am in the program. I apply for it, and I immediately will start looking around my house for products, if not before that. And I will start, filming products, posting them, and learning again through other creators, seeing how are they framing their videos? What are these different styles I'm seeing? There's some videos where people are standing right here and just showing a product and holding it and talking about it. And then there's videos where they don't even show their face. And then there's videos where they do voiceovers. They like film the video with B-roll shots and then they just voice over, and then there's tons of different styles, and I would try all of them, see what I'm good at, and then double down on the ones that convert. And then I would just keep posting and keep improving. And then at some point, you're going to see a super viral video. The moment you have that viral video, I double down on that style, that niche, those products, that product, and then continue to do that until I make, crazy money. And then I just ride that wave, basically. I like to call it like surfing.
You're pretty much exhausting a format. And once
Yeah.
it's exhausted, trying a new one. Is that kind of
Yeah.
how you're going about it?
Yeah, so I like to say it's like riding a wave and surfing. My sister's been on a long wave, but it's like you're kind of paddling out. The paddle out really sucks, right? You're paddling out there. It's like, oh, this is so exhausting because I'm not getting anything out of this. This sucks. I haven't caught a wave yet. This sucks. I'm paddling, and then finally you catch that wave. You're like, you think you're about to catch the wave. You're like getting into it, and then it goes underneath you, and you're like, dang it, I didn't catch that. I thought I was going to catch it, and then finally you catch a wave, and you're on that wave, and you're riding it, and you're trying to ride it as long as you can, and then maybe it's a short wave, but you got to pedal back out again. You're like, oh, this sucks. So it's like kind of like that in TikTok, but the whole goal is to just like get on that wave and ride it as long as you can. So the moment you're on it, you just got to really focus in on like, okay, what is working for me right now? How am I riding this correctly right now? And kind of studying that.
I absolutely love that analogy. I think it's perfect. Something while I was listening to that I was thinking about, because I'm putting myself in the shoes of somebody going through this as well and trying to build this following. Is like you get to 5,000 followers and you feel like you kind of have a personal brand because you may have other options out there where maybe companies are now contacting you and want to do collaborations. So for someone that may be in that seat that's also trying to build a personal brand, is there a trade-off now of like doing too much on TikTok Shop or just enough? Or should you be avoiding of TikTok Shop if you're trying to build a personal brand? Like, how do you balance the two if you're looking to not only increase revenue and therefore profit, but also building a personal brand at the same time?
I think if you have a personal brand, you either want to do one of two things. You either want to separate TikTok Shop completely from your personal brand account.
Okay.
Or if you are going to do TikTok Shop, you don't want to do I would say more than 20% of your content be TikTok Shop because you don't want to tarnish your audience. The moment that you tarnish your audience, you lose everything for yourself. And the long-term thing for everybody here and everybody that watches is you need to build a personal brand at the end of the day. And you need to do some cool stuff to get there, right? Like we all need to do like cool stuff. And the cool stuff is making sales. Like I didn't have a personal brand at all. I started TikTok Shop, made a ton of money, and now I kind of leveraged that as my personal brand, along with the other people I teach and like this whole atmosphere, even what we're doing right now. So that's like the goal. And like if you have a good personal brand or you're building that right now, then don't tarnish that unless you don't really care as much and you want to just get the cool stuff done, then go that route, sure. But maybe separate the two. Because you don't want to like just do a ton of TikTok Shop because then your audience is gonna go, oh, I don't really care about this person anymore because they're just selling me stuff all day long.
It's no longer a personal brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I have a different lens that I think the reason that I was thinking about this is because I can see this happening kind of more and more in the future. Let's say I am a pickleball paddle company and I see the leverage that we can have on TikTok Shop, meaning I want to capitalize specifically on Gen Z because they're the new up and comers and they're the ones that are going to be playing pickleball from now until their 70s, right? But I'm going to stay in my niche, meaning my niche is pickleball products and selling pickleball products. What is now the strategy from the brand, the company side? How do they go about even grabbing creators to sell their products? Or how do they set up a page personally that converts on the items that they need to convert on from a seller standpoint rather than doing random products from the creator side? Really, the question I'm asking is, if we're moving to the seller side, where do we start as a seller?
That's a good question too, because and I'm not a seller expert,
Yeah.
but what I have seen that the sellers that do it correctly are doing multiple things. They are one, working with the creators by incentivizing them a lot to start. So like they have to take the loss. I've seen this. They have to take the loss from the start to try and onboard creators correctly. You need to give the creators a lot because I'll be honest, the creators have a lot of options. Like if you're a creator, you get so many products and so many collaboration requests. Everybody wants to give you free stuff. And that's pretty cool. But that also drowns out a lot of a lot of the sellers that are smaller and just starting. So if you really want to stand out, you need to really give creators a lot. So whether that's be like, hey, we're going to spend money on your video and spend money on ads behind your video, telling them that, or you're giving them a lot of commission or doing both. And you're just incentivizing them by telling the creator that like, that you're going to give them a lot more than the average company would. And then also they need to be also passionate about your product more than likely. Because there's times that like I see a product and I'm like, I know this isn't probably going to sell, but I really want to promote it because I really like it. Or maybe I haven't it isn't shown that it's going to sell, but maybe I could get it to sell because I really like it. And as long as that company gives me a really good incentive, like 25% commission or something really nice, and they're like, oh, and we'll spend money on ads for you, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll be all over that. So that's how the creator thinks. And so if you can incentivize it with that, you're going to do it really well. But also building a personal brand with that seller, like the seller having a personal brand is like so much more likely to convert for other creators too. Like other creators want to be onboarded into a company that has a personal brand behind it, right? Like if I see another creator building his own brand or building her own brand, I'm going to be way more likely to want to promote it too. So yeah.
If you were starting a store yourself and you are going to be a seller, let's say it is tech products, what are the first steps that you would take? Like, would you start reaching out to creators initially? You would probably get your store set up. So let's skip the store piece. What would be your tactical way of now actually selling products via your store if you just started a store for tech products?
I would go the route of, well, first I would build a personal brand. Like I would do that before anything. Funny enough, that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to build my own store and sell my own products. I took the full long-term route here. I was like, hey, I don't know anything about this business stuff. I tried it. I failed at like selling stuff on Amazon and I didn't really do it well. So I said, okay, what else can I do? And I found TikTok shop affiliate. And I was like, hey, how about I learn about how businesses sell stuff? I sell stuff as well, make a lot of money, use that money to invest and start my own brand. And while I'm doing that, I build an audience of creators that I can utilize to sell my own product. And that's what I'm doing right now. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm building my own product. I'm going to start selling it on TikTok Shop. And this is my first time actually announcing it because I'm going to announce it. This is probably going to be out after January 1st, but January 1st is when I'm announcing this. And I'm building it all with a community. So I'm actually going to build it with the community of audience that I have. So I'm going to post about the whole entire journey. It's going to be a whole documented journey of me going, hey, this is day one of building this with me. You guys get to vote on what you want this product to look like. And we're going to be a very charitable brand, right? Like I want it to be very people oriented. Like the people choose what they want this product to be like. It's not me. I want everyone else to be a part of it, and they get to vote on how the product looks, how the logos look, how the product works, how it does, like everything like that. And the whole thing gets documented, and it's also a marketing strategy for a launch for when I decide to launch the product too. And that's what I think is the best marketing strategy right now on social media, organic social. Like if you can document the whole journey of launching that product, you're going to have so many creators onboarded so quickly, and it's going to be a crazy launch. So that's what I think. If you are starting a brand on social media, it is like the prerequisites to launching it is way more important than the launch itself, I think.
You're basically building your community before even launching it. Like you're not building and then hoping that they come and show up.
Mm-hmm.
You're building the community first, launch comes afterwards. So therefore the launch is successful pretty much no matter what.
Yep.
It's just how successful.
Yeah. And I would do it by building the audience around the creators too. Like the creators that are going to be promoting your products. Like my audience is all creators that promote products. So I have that leverage point because I built that audience. So how can you build an audience of the people that will promote your product and serve them? Because if you're serving them, they're going to want it and they're also going to promote it and they'll be happy to promote it. So that's how I'm thinking about it. I'm like, what is a product that is a large total addressable market that the creators also want too, and would be loving to build with you and promote for you. And if you can do those things, you can, build it with them, you're going to sell so much on the launch. And you will be able to reiterate the things that they had problems with because they're building it with you. Like they're all the consumers and the promoters of it.
Can you give us a product that you're thinking of currently that is aligned with the creators?
It's also aligned with myself and my family. I want to do a healthier deodorant brand. Deodorants. I went through the past like 6 months, almost a year actually, of thinking of products that I wanted to build. And I've had a lot of really different options, but I always found the issue that I didn't have any passion towards them. And I felt like I need the passion to be there for me, or else as the founder, I'm not going to want to keep doing it, even if the other creators want to. So I need something I'm passionate about. And I found tons of really good options, but then I didn't have something I was passionate about. So I actually sat there and thought back to what I am passionate about. And I found that, well, one, I never found any good deodorants. My wife always has breakouts with deodorants and never found anything good. And she still uses aluminum stuff. And I that really, because my family, and this is just me, my family is very cautious about breast cancer because we had it in our family before. And that was a whole thing. So our family is like very against aluminum, very healthy deodorants, but we never find anything that works. And my wife is using aluminum, but every time she doesn't use it, she breaks out. So I'm like, okay, I need to solve this problem. I'm passionate about it. And I know it also would be resonating towards my audience because like they just would. I already know that. It's a large TAM, and I feel like it's really brandable, very scalable. So that's kind of the reason I've decided to go that route. And I've been kind of sitting on it for the past like 3 months without making any moves in it. I've kind of done very tiny little dabbling I've done a lot of like market research, but not making any full actions yet because I want my creators to make the decisions with me. So I'm kind of waited until January 1st.
You seem like an extreme risk taker and action taker at the same time. Which is something that I absolutely love. And so many people that we talk to, like I respect heavily. But you also brought up like being driven by passion. Have you been motivated by passion your entire life, or what motivates you on a daily basis?
Yeah, this is a good one. So this is, I guess, getting kind of deep. I guess I never like talked about this, but I've never told anybody about this too much. But so I was in special education when I was growing up. I was in special ed. I was really bad in school. I just always learned a lot slower than everybody else. It was funny because I'm really friends with the smartest kids in the school, but I was always literally in the special education. The teachers would literally have to give me the test answers to try and get me to pass. And I was trying. I knew I was going into the military, so I was like, I don't really care as long as I get a diploma. But I also was still trying, and I was like, man, I'm just learning so much slower than these other people. And even in sports, like I felt like I was always behind everybody else. And so I felt like I had something to prove my entire life, that like I can do things that are like substantial in life and like differentiate myself, because I always felt like the avenues everyone else is taking, I'll always be behind in them. Like whether it's college, whether it's in these sports, whether it's in the football or something like the standard thing. I was like, if I go those routes, I'll always be behind because I've always shown that I will be. So how do I differentiate myself and make myself stand out in very unique fields? And so I've always looked at the lens like that, and especially because my dad pushed me in that route too. He was like, you got to go into the military and do the military and do special operations stuff. And I was like, okay. And because he was in that stuff. And I was like, okay, that's definitely different than the college route that I know I won't be good at. So I've always tried to find a way to differentiate. Like if they're all going this direction, how do I go this direction and make it something I like? So that's how I think about things.
How often has that paid off for you today? Zigging when others are zagging.
Every time it's worked. So yeah, I love it because it works. If you find what you're passionate about and genuinely find what you're passionate about, it's a lot less riskier than you actually think it is. Like things are not as bad as your brain's going to naturally put you in like, that's a really bad thing. You should stay away from that. The herd is going this direction. You should go that direction too. Your brain's going to naturally do that. And you need to be aware of it and really think about what you're passionate about, because if you are passionate about it, go that direction, because it's not as scary as you think it is.
Your first couple failures, were they something you easily bounce back from? Like, can you sit here and recall the first couple of times you really were passionate about something, thought that it was going to work, it did not work, you felt like you failed, but you powered through anyways? Can you recall that first couple moments and like what made you want to keep going?
I would say it was when I started my air freshener business on Amazon. I tried to do that. I invested a lot of money, went into a lot of debt over it. And I just wanted to get something and just try something. And again, differentiate myself. I was like, I want to do this. And I also didn't know that failure was a good thing until I failed at it and then learned. But at the start I was like, I'm going to try and do this. And then I invested like 20 grand I didn't have. And I was like, I want to try and make this work. And it sold, but I ended up completely tanking the business. And that's a whole different story. It was just a failure on my end. And I basically learned that was kind of needed. I needed to have that happen for me to get to the point where I'm at right now. And I didn't know that. And so I saw it as a problem, but in reality, it was actually a gift because I solved actually a lot more problems for myself now. And I'm actually excelling now because of it. So it's kind of weird. A lot of people expect that the failures are bad. In reality, they're actually the gifts for you.
Did you, in that moment when you were 20 grand in debt, did you have the money to pay that off, or like what did you end up doing did you even have the money to do anything there, or did you have to get a different job for a short period of time?
No, there's some things I had to do that I won't talk about, but definitely were bad. Like I should not, my wife and I were moving from Hawaii to San Diego because the military was stationing me in San Diego. I had just finished my deployment tours and everything out of Hawaii, and I'm now in instructor duty. So I teach now in a classroom setting. And as I was moving, I was also starting and launching that brand. And so it was a huge time of like launching something and moving. It was just terrible timing, but that happened. And I was like, oh my gosh, I barely can pay for the debt of this. And also we just moved into a place and we have a ton of moving fees and, just like life things. I was like, this sucks. So I was like, that's actually where I came into the decision of doing TikTok Shop, was right around that time, because I was like, I need money. And so failure at that point wasn't really an option because I have to make the money. Like I have to make money. And so I was just working to my wits end, making the videos work. And I was trying to find the side hustle that worked. And because I think I had that, like almost not life or death, but like, it was just a really strong reason to make this work, that I think it did, because I was working so hard on it. I would come home from work and work until midnight, and then wake up and then work, and then come home and work again till midnight. It was just like constant filming and editing and studying and just like doing so much to make it work. And I think that having that drive because of the issue I had built myself into was the reason that I had the success I did.
Why did you not, in that moment, think about getting a second job during those hours and consistently say, I'm going to keep building, I'm going to take more risk, I know I'm going to figure this out? Like, what made you really truly have that belief to keep taking that risk rather than taking something that's more safer?
I think I grew up in a time where I'm obviously Gen Z. So it's like, I see the world differently than I think the older generations do. And the fact that like older generations would say like, why don't get a second job, right? And that's not saying you're old or anything, but I know you're not. But it's like that's like a general thing
Do I
that like
look
my
that
parents.
old?
No, you're not. But no, I know you're not, because
Oh,
you're 28, right?
28, yeah,
Yeah.
28,
So,
28.
but that's like something my mom would say though. Like my mom would be like, "Go get a second job because that's stable and that's secure." But in my eyes, I know the opportunities are online now. Like
Yeah.
I know that's where the money's at, and I know that that's where I see people left and right making money, and I know that I could do that too. I know anybody could do that. I don't think anybody who says that anybody can't do something is it's not true. So it's like I know that's for a fact I could do it too, and so getting another job would, one, feel demoralizing because I'm like, I feel like I really did fail on myself, because the whole reason I'm doing it is to prove to myself I can.
Mm.
So if I'm doing the opposite of that, I'm just digging myself deeper in that hole, even if it's not financially. And then I just want to make it out, because I know at some point I will, like whether it's like 9 failures deep, I finally make it, right? Like, but that's expected. Like I expect me to have way more failures in the future too, and I'm very much willing for that to happen now.
How about your wife as a partner? The reason I'm asking you that question is because in the moment like that, I think it's very easy for a partner to be like, hey, listen, I can't have you keep putting us in a hole like any deeper than this. Like, what made her have so much belief in you too to keep doing this and keep taking risk and finding a way to actually not only get out of the situation that you were in, but having success way beyond that? Like, what was that belief that she also had in you?
To be honest, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Like, I think about it. She is so loyal to me. Like, and I love that. Like, whatever I say, I'm like, hey, this is what I believe, and this is what I'm thinking we need to do. She's like, I'm on board. Like, and I couldn't have asked for anything because you're right. Like, I don't know why she would say yes to that. Like any normal person would be like, that's crazy. I think we were at like $60,000 in debt of
In
like,
total.
yeah, in total from like not even just cars. That was like not including cars, but that was like car or like credit cards, loans for like the business, like so much different stuff. And I was like, and you're willing me to kind of dive more into another thing that I didn't even spend much money on TikTok Shop. That's the nice part is you don't have to have as much risk for it. Like you could start with free stuff. Like I started for no money and I started making money. So like there wasn't much risk there, but like the risk of the time investment where I could be allocating that towards something to get us out of the debt was a huge risk to her. But she was more than willing, and she's so trusting in that. Like I will lead her and us in this right direction, and so I can't be more grateful for that.
That's why I had to ask that question, because I think it's in those moments when you really realize the importance of your partner. Because like you seem like a guy that wouldn't be influenced otherwise, but I understand from talking to people how you can pivot out of that moment, especially if you have someone who you're married to or is your partner and they're like, hey, I can't take the stress of this anymore. It's very easy to pivot out of it. But when you have a partner that doubles down on you, like it means the world in those moments. It's what brings you to these moments. Um, I got a more existential question for you here that goes beyond your wife, which is the mentality that you now have coming from Gen Z. Um, you're going to want at some point now moving into the future, which is tough to think about with AI, and the landscape is really hard to predict. But how are you going to also encourage your kids to take risk? Like, how are you going to have that conversation with them?
I've been thinking about this a lot recently, and I'm not sure yet. I want to really drill into them the idea that you need to follow not just your passion, because I don't think following your passion is always the best decision. I think it's finding what you're good at and where you have a lot of curiosity in and following that, not necessarily passion, but curiosity. And I would just drill into them that like whatever you do, you're going to be the best at it. Like if you're not trying to be the best at it, then why are you doing it at all? And I think that will help them, but making sure that they follow their curiosity, because if they don't, they're just gonna do what everyone else does. And I'm sorry, but it's like I want personally, I think that when we die, we meet the person that we are supposed to be or what we're supposed to look like. And if that person doesn't look like me, then I've done something wrong. And I want my kids to obviously be that person too. And I think you can only do that by being curious and following that curiosity, because that's the only reason that I made it to where I'm at right now at 26 is like I just found found the things that were curious for me, and I just followed them. And I think if my kids do the same thing, and I can help guide them uh, in being open minded and progressive in the fact that like the world moves in different directions and moves in weird ways, and you kind of have to follow that. Like AI, for example, is like like my mom is like AI, right? Like, but it's like, what if you weren't? What if you were actually towards it? Like that's the world that we're moving into. So why not favor into it more, um, and be curious of it and try things. Like I think that's the mindset you need to have, and I want my kids to have that mindset of always being curious about these things that the world's moving into.
You ever heard the term like ikigai?
I feel like I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
So it's basically the Japanese concept of finding something you love combined with finding what you're good at, combined with something you can make a financial living from.
Ooh, I like that.
And the reason being, there's a whole book on it. So like you'd probably love that book. And basically the reason that I've heard this over and over again, so many big entrepreneurs talk about it. I think Hermosi has talked about it a couple of times too. Stephen Bartlett has. I actually just listened to a podcast with Cody Sanchez and Mel Robbins specifically talking about it. And the reason being is because you're right. It can't always be just a passion. you can try and force it, and yes, can you make money doing it? But can you make enough money where it supports things beyond just a standard day-to-day living, right? Like if you want to go travel, you want to go do these things, etc. So it has to be a little bit scalable. And usually that principle comes with your passion, your skills, what you're good at, and something that you can make money doing. So I've tried to carry that principle now, like looking forward of like, how can I get something to align with those three that is also scalable? And I feel like it's just a really easy framework to find something that you enjoy doing and can make money at rather than just going to your 9 to 5 job, waiting for it to be over and waiting for the weekend every single weekend. Like I respect it heavily. Like my parents were two people that started working very early, have been at their same career for 30 years, are about to retire in a couple of years, and they've played it very safe. And I love that for them. But for me, it's just like I have so much curiosity. If I played it safe, I would get to 85 and I'd be like, what happened? Like, did I do anything that I actually wanted to do with my time? And I think that is the biggest piece, is also being in your seat at 85. Hermosi talks about this, right? And reflecting on life and being like, am I going to regret it? Am I going to regret not doing that? And if I'm going to regret it, I have to fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like I have to. I'm going to ask you a follow-up question to the one about the kids. For all of our listeners, on this topic of like risk, because I think when you're teeter-tottering or you're a person who like feels things very emotionally, like myself, like if I'm in a risk spot and I feel like people are stressed around me, like I could also feel it. So it's easy to bounce myself out. I've done a lot of reading and done a lot of listening to other entrepreneurs that has kept encouraging me to move forward, give different perspective, lenses, mindsets, etc. Is there anybody specifically that you key in on, that you take mental advice from, that helps support your journey moving forward? Any books that you read that really stand out that may be worth our audience reading?
They probably heard this one, but Start With Why by Simon Sinek. I think that's probably my favorite one because that builds you the correct foundation for what you want in life. I think that's probably my favorite read of all time. So, yeah, I think that one. Does that kind of answer it?
Yeah, it does. How about like any people or podcasts? Like you told me you're a Hermosi guy, right?
Yeah, I listen to Hermosi a lot.
Yeah.
Business advice. I think Stephen Bartlett's great. Trying to think who else. I mean, Hermosi is just like good for strategy. Like, I mean, even philosophical stuff, I guess too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess just Hermosi mostly. Like,
How about
he's
from a creator side? Meaning you are now heavily in the content space. You kind of started with short form and really perfecting a lot of that, moving into TikTok space. What are the creators? Because we're talking about TikTok Shop, heavy creation base, heavy find your framework, iterate on your framework, apply products to it. Is there creators that you find that just really, really understand social media and short form as a whole that you take a lot of notes from?
a lot of people probably don't. Well, he's growing really quick, but Briar, I forget his last name now. Briar Cochran. I'm probably totally butchering that, but
Okay.
he does a lot of like psychology and data driven, I guess, content around building social presence and building a brand online. He's amazing. Like he breaks down videos so well, and like how he speaks through like educating people through content. It's amazing. So if I were to recommend anybody for like even just doing content in general, I would definitely recommend Briar. Starts with a C. I can't remember, but if he's got blonde hair, he's younger. He's like definitely under 30.
Was he a YouTube guy first?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I want to find him, but yeah, he's amazing.
You ever listen to the Colin and Samir show?
Yeah, Colin and Samir are amazing too. Thank you for mentioning that because they're definitely up there.
Yeah.
They're definitely more a long form education side. I really like their stuff though. gosh, I'm trying to think. There's not many people that really do short form that are like that, you know, like they don't teach short form through long form as much. There's not many um, that I look at least. Honestly, I look at myself as much as not like selfishly, but like I'll look at my own stuff. Like I just study my stuff like crazy, and
Yeah.
then I just honestly, I've curated my TikTok page to a point where it's just information education and intentional scrolling. I like dedicate time in my day to intentionally scroll on TikTok.
So
It's
smart.
crazy it actually works. And I'll even do it at work. Like if I'm bored at work, which happens all the time because I don't do much in my military job. Don't spread that. But but like I if I'm not doing anything, I'll sit there and intentionally scroll. And if it's something that's entertainment on my feed, I try not to engage with it at all. I try to immediately get it away because I want to curate my feed correctly. I actually have a scrolling page where I just sit there and brain rot or whatever. Like it's my page for that, and then the one that's my main page is all there for educating myself and just kind of seeing the industry move and how it's moving and kind of staying up to date. And like if it's something interesting, I'll save it, put it in my kind of collections folder of like come back to this because it's important folder kind of deal. And I find that to be really helpful. And a lot of those are going to be like podcast clips and also just even other big creators that like do a lot of really high quality editing and stuff like that. I'll look at their stuff and see how they use social psychology in their tactics and stuff too.
How does TikTok vary from the other platforms? Because what triggered that in there is you talked about like looking at other creators who may be using heavier amount of editing. But I will say from my lens, where we kind of started more Instagram and then moved to TikTok, it's like they're completely two different styles. Where I see Instagram as this much like more tailored platform, where on TikTok it's much more raw, real, relatable. Pick up the phone and start recording. Um, so with that being said, you doing so much work and also being this expert in short form, how do the platforms vary and do they actually vary? Like, does the content performance change depending on what platform you're on?
I love that question because it's definitely true. Like there's a huge difference between what you see on different platforms. And TikTok is extremely community based. Like I've noticed that I had never scrolled on Reels until I started doing all my content stuff, and I
Mm.
use it now to like kind of see the differences and just get more ingrained into the cultures of different things. And I've seen dramatically that TikTok is very community driven and very authentic and unedited and unscripted and just uncut. And yeah, like those very edited videos do well still, but the ones that really resonate with people are the ones that seem very genuine and trustworthy. So it's like that's where you go to just like pull out your phone and like I have this really strong message. I'm gonna communicate it well, but be very raw and open and transparent, and it's gonna work. So that's what I've seen there. I've seen reels definitely very highly edited more or moved into edited more, and you definitely like engagement curated more. I would say like people are more like stickers and graphics and follow here, click here, like that kind of stuff more. I think it just works better for their algorithm and how they're just cater. People are just studying and trying to cater the algorithm. That's what it is. So, and that's what I've seen there. YouTube, I've seen more very high entertainment. Like it's very entertainment driven on YouTube Shorts. Is what I've seen. I mean, this is just me. I don't have any data to prove this, but I think if you are an entertainer on YouTube Shorts, you are going to do a lot better than an educational space person. But yeah.
I could see that based off of like honestly Mr. Beast setting the standard
Mm.
on YouTube, right? And I feel like YouTube has definitely become an alternative to cable, right? Where you are going there now for entertainment often rather than going to a streaming platform sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I find myself now of like, I think we have Netflix. We have one other, I can't remember. But we don't pay for every streaming platform. Like maybe you have one or two that you prefer. But beyond that, like I usually go to YouTube now. And I'm more of an educational guy on YouTube, but I could see the same psychology happening of like easy. YouTube is so easy to one, open, get to, and two, find people that you already are relatable with. You're not like finding a new show or
Mhm.
like you can't find a show you resonate with. Like you know that creator that you already resonate with. is posting another video that you can now watch. And before you know
Yeah.
it, you've watched 5, 6, 7, 8 of those videos. And then you've spent your time on YouTube instead of on a streaming platform. So I completely see that.
Yeah, I think I like to psychoanalyze where I think things are heading and then what the result of those things will happen because of it. So, for example, like you were mentioning that people are watching YouTube on their TVs a lot more. That's like if you look at the data of that, it's dramatic. It's like that's
Okay.
skyrocketing right now.
Not only me. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Not only me.
everybody, even I'm like that. Like I only
Yeah.
watch YouTube on my TV now. Like I don't even watch on my phone.
Mm.
So I think that's where things are going to consistently go to. I think streaming platforms are slowly going to die off, in my opinion. I think that these free platforms like YouTube, especially YouTube, are going to take off even more for that realm. Like I think that like reality TV is going to kind of move into a lot of like YouTube style. I think hot take, but I think it. And then with that also, I think it's going to mean also that YouTube Shorts, I think, are going to die. I think YouTube Shorts are going to die off, and I think they're going to double down back into their long form. I think short form content, I think, is really good, but I think it has maybe 5 to 10 years until we move back to long form again.
You
Because
think
everyone's like,
you
yeah,
think
everyone's
it's hit its peak? Pretty
yeah,
much.
I think it's at its peak right now, or I think maybe it has a little bit more juice left in it to kind of keep its peak, but I think long form is the long term. Again, well, it's an
Why?
accordion effect. It's an accordion effect. I think that it started long form, and then everyone's like, I want quick, fast things, and so short form came around, Vine, TikTok, and now TikTok was kind of the hype of it all. And then I think people are going to get overwhelmed, overexhausted by this short form world, and it's going to go back to the accordion out of long form again. And I think long form is going to take over once again because we already see that people are already like we're brain dead, we're brain rotting, and then I think the culture is going to go back to that long form again, and then I think it's going to go back to the short form. I think it's just an accordion, but
I love that analogy. First off, it just makes it so clear. The second piece I was going to ask you before I get into the other question is, do you feel like you've seen like Instagram and the other algorithms change because of the success that TikTok has had so extremely and rapidly?
oh yeah, for sure. Like
Yeah.
everyone's trying to mimic TikTok's algorithm. They've openly even said it. Like I think somebody at Meta was talking about how they were trying to mimic TikTok's algorithm, but it's so good. It's like so unbelievably good that nobody has been able to figure it out. That's the whole reason why TikTok was going to get banned. And they were like, well, if you ban it, like, or if you sell it and you don't take the algorithm, it's just a shell of nothing. Like, because the whole thing that makes TikTok so special is the algorithm and it's being so good. Like, Instagram is nothing compared to TikTok's algorithm and how it can create organic virality from nothing. Like you could have 0 followers and your first video is like 10 million views. Like that's like, where else can you do that? And Instagram's not really like that yet because they send your followers initially to your following, whereas TikTok sends it out to the world first. And it uses such a good AI algorithm to detect what like who it's able to detect like who it needs to go to very quickly and very fast. Like it uses so many different metrics. Like you can't even be everybody who says like, oh, 10 likes for every 100 views. Like there's so much more involved than just one little thing. Like it's like every little thing, like how fast and what point in the video did you like the video? Did you favorite the video? When did you comment? How long was your comment? When in the video did you comment? Did you like? And what were they saying in the video when you decided to do that action? Like all these little intricacies that make up every little decision that TikTok's algorithm is going to do. There's so much involved. And that's the thing that no one can replicate.
Did you get a behind the scenes look into this algorithm, or how do you know all these answers from trial and error? Or have you talked to a couple people?
It's trial and error, but I definitely know people. But it's not like stuff that they couldn't have said, they weren't allowed to say.
Hmm.
But there are things that I know that I'm probably not allowed to know, but I'm not allowed to say either. But that's not like the stuff I just mentioned isn't like not allowed to talk about or anything. But
I won't push you too hard to say it
yeah,
all.
it's all good.
Uh,
Yeah.
even though, even though, so what I'm kind of getting at is, in summary, is that we're going to see probably the other algorithms move closer and closer towards TikTok, where the opportunity cost is very low, meaning you can have no followers and have exponential opportunity by just finding and doing a format that works and pretty much doubling down on that format to consistently grow after that.
100%. Yeah. If you can, I think at some point these algorithms are going to figure out very similarly to what TikTok's doing at some point, and they're going to be able to very closely replicate it. And when they do, I think they're going to implement it out very similarly to long form. And I think that's going to be the basically the nail in the coffin for TikTok. As much as I love TikTok and what it's done for me, I'm looking long term here, and I don't see YouTube ever going away. I think YouTube is the king of all platforms, and so YouTube's going to do what it does, and it's going to take over again in that regard. But I don't think short form is going to stay like the way it is. I think it's going to go back to long form. And I also think I have so many theories. I'm just throwing theories at you right now, but I also think that we're going to get to a point where purchasing products online becomes so easy. If you haven't seen the trajectory of how easy it is to buy things online, it's pretty crazy. It used to be a long process to purchase something online, and that's only like 5 years ago. Now you can go on Amazon and one click button, you're getting something delivered to your door, right? And so we're getting less friction for the consumer to purchase. And I think we're going to get to a point where, and Mr. Beast actually mentioned this, and I thought this was brilliant. I was like, this is definitely how it's going to go. He was talking to the YouTube staff and was like, hey, I would love it if a viewer could pause the video and click on a portion of the video. Like they could click on this microphone right here. They could click on it. And then when they click on it, they click buy now. And when they click buy now, it gets delivered to their door that quick and that easy. I think we're going to get to a point where YouTube's doing stuff like that, TikTok's doing stuff like that, or something in relation. And that is going to be the height of social e-commerce. Social media commerce is going to be that. And then I believe that it's going to diminish social media so bad that we're going to go all the way back to square one, and people are not going to buy things online anymore. People are going to go to in-store again. I think is again accordion effect. I think the whole world moves on this accordion effect. Reason why you see like people with fashion's like that too. Like everyone's like, oh, the 80s, that's so ugly. Now everyone's dressing like super baggy, right? So it's like, I think that's how social media is going to run. And I think that we're going to kill social e-commerce within 20 years. And then it's going to come back, 40 years. So it's like, I think we probably have a whole new world after that, but like I think that's how we're going to move. I think social e-commerce is going to grow for the next 5 to 10 years. And that's going to be its peak. It's probably 10 years from now.
Where does the streamers, the live content, the live social shopping fit in? Because I feel like that has started to get crazy amounts of traction, like Whatnot, as well as the live social shopping on TikTok, as well as streamers. I mean, streamers are hotter than ever right now, especially the big ones. Like, where does live content fit into this curve of the future?
That's where I think the future is. I think its peak is going to be everybody just like binge watching streaming by streaming's huge, but it's nothing of what it's going to be. I think like if you ask the average person walking down the street, they're not like, oh yeah, I watch streamers every day. Like they don't, but they watch, reality TV or they watch YouTube or something like that. Right. So it has so much room to grow. And I think personally that streaming, live social shopping, streamers, that industry is going to be the peak of social media in like 10 years, maybe even less than that, probably 5 years. I don't know, but that's where I think it's going to be. And then that will be the ultimate, like most authentic, real, like, because that's where it all moves. Everything just moves towards more authenticity, and live streaming is the most authentic you can be. There's no editing, there's no cuts. It's just like straight you being you and living that reality. So I think that's where it's going to move. And then that's once it hits that peak and everyone's so exhausted by that, we're going to go right back to like very highly edited, very scripted stuff again.
Do you feel like the way that we're moving with AI can have a different impact on that? And what I mean by that is it seems like there's inevitability of people having more and more time on their hands. Do you think that fuels the engine of streamers as well as live interactions online, where now I'm connecting with somebody for multiple hours online because I just have more time on my hands that I need to do something with?
Yeah, I think so. I think AI is going to, a lot of and I think Hermosi's even said this, I totally believe this, is like
Because he's
AI,
big into live streaming now, right?
yeah, he's starting to take over into that world because it's growing.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
why not? Even my team is like, you need to start live streaming and we'll just clip everything. And
I'm
like,
taking notes of it. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, let's do these podcasts live.
Yeah.
Screw it. You know?
Funny enough, like 4 months ago, I was like, hey, I should do a Dave Ramsey style. Like, I should start doing Dave Ramsey style stuff because I could, one, get tons of clips out of it. Two, I could help people, like through calls. Like, I take calls, and then I'll just be like, hey, what's up? What's your question? Like, let me answer. And then I clip that, and then that becomes organic content for clips. And I'm live streaming, and like, it's so many different things you gain out of 1 ounce of time.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's brilliant. And then Hermosi's basically doing the exact same thing. It's like Hermosi Hotline or whatever. So it's like, actually, I think that's the direction that a lot of creators are going to start heading. And even I'm probably going to head that direction for my personal brand. But I forget what your question was. Sorry.
No, I was really trying to get into like, what does the AI landscape look like in comparison to live streaming? Where does live streaming fit in? And you really answered that on the fact of like, it's going to go more and more live, and people having more and more time on their hands is just going to fuel that engine.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's really what I was trying to get at, is if I'm putting the puzzle pieces together and where the future is moving, the future is moving to people getting more time back inevitably because you have a lot of AI doing a lot of roles for them. If it goes another tier and you have Elon Musk putting robots in your home and you're minimizing cooking, you're minimizing cleaning, you're minimizing those tasks, what does that do? That puts you honestly on the couch more or outside more, right? A little bit of both. But when you have more time on your hands, naturally, you're probably going to find something you can invest more time in. And logically, that's where I can see people building relationships with streamers and live audiences, because there's more time for them to sit down and actually feel like they're extremely connected to whoever they're watching live or whoever they're interacting with live.
100%. And I think the other portion of that is the interaction portion is going to grow significantly in the streaming world. So like, I think there's going to be a very big, and I'm just making this up because this is like an example, but you could be watching your streamer and you can have a decision in what they're doing right in real time. Because you want to feel like you're a part of something when you're watching. I've noticed like with other big creators that are doing long form, the people who have series that are going on and you can interact with those series that they're currently doing in real time, the engagement is like insane for them. And I think that streamers are going to have options to where they are live and you could vote for them to do something. Like, hey, which one do you guys want me to do? You guys want me to like run down the street here with this random thing or whatever? Or do you want me to do this? And like, people are voting in real time to do that. And they feel like they're a part of the scenario more. I think we're going to move in that direction very soon as
That
well.
can get wild.
Yeah.
All right, let me give you a scenario because I'm thinking about me in my seat as a podcaster. How can let's say we will be doing some of these podcasts live. It's probably the first time that I'm saying that publicly, but we will inevitably probably be moving to all of our podcasts live with the way the direction that it's going. The secondary thing is you brought up the interactivity. How would me as a podcaster or anybody else listening that's a podcaster add that interactivity, those interactions within a podcast? So like a conversation we're having right now, how would I be able to really add that into the conversation that we're having?
See, that's the thing. I'd have to sit and think about that, but it's really smart though. Like if you could add and I'm thinking about so many other things I want to talk about, but
yeah,
that like, if you could add that into a podcast, it's the only thing that people would want to stop themselves from leaving a podcast. If you really think about it, like other than like, daily tasks they have to do or something stops them like actually, but if boredom comes and they want to leave a podcast, the easiest way to stop them is make them feel like they're involved in it and in real time. And so if they're involved in it, how does that work? Whether that's through voting for things or they can have an action happen in like they can have a physical thing. They can be like, hey, when I click this button, this thing lights up in a corner on his live stream or during his podcast. Like I can watch it, interact with the podcast, make something happen. I think that's where things would head in a podcast realm. And I think more proof to that I know that will happen is if you scroll on TikTok, it's funny. You can watch people's lives and you can like pay money, like little gifts. And people will like, every time you pay a gift, it stabs this egg and the egg will drop into a bucket or whatever. And so you're actually making things happen by spending money. You're making an action happen that you're watching. And that's happening a ton right now. I've also seen, you know how people like SWAT people that are live streaming, they like SWAT their home and like the SWAT team comes. The only reason they do that is because they want a clip. They want to feel like they interacted with the live viewership. They made something happen to them. And so there's even streamers like Kai Cenat. He was like, they were all like sitting there, and every time someone donated money, so like a blowhorn would go off or something. Like that's the direction I think we're moving. And I think the same thing happens with podcasts. Like you're going to start seeing people like Rogan and Steven, I think, have some type of interaction portion in their stuff, because that's how you get your community to feel like they're interacted with. So.
I'm trying to think it. So like, I can see the entertainment lens, right? Of doing kind of random things that are very entertaining. I'm trying to think of, and this is completely on the fly, right? I'm trying to think of how do I do it from a higher level of education standpoint, adding greater value from an educational lens. The way that I could think about that, if we're brainstorming right now, is if I was carrying a conversation, rather than just saying like, what do you want the conversation to be about? I can see having 3 options for the next chapter of the conversation, and the
That's what I was
audience,
just thinking.
right? And the audience picking one of the 3, so that although me on my podcasting side, I'm prepared probably anyways for any 3 of these directions to go in. But they now feel like they've given it direction because they're picking one of the 3 options. I could see that being something that's really cool that I'm going to have to discuss with the rest of our team.
And that could be a really nice counter position for you too. Like, it's same thing with, there was a Netflix show. What was that back in like 2016? There was a Netflix show, or maybe it was a movie, and you had the interaction portion. Like when it got done with a kind of a chapter of the movie, it kind of was like, hey, what do you want your decision to be? Like, where do you want this person to do? It's kind of like a video game. Yeah. And it was like, oh, I want the person to like run out of the house and like run to their car or do this.
What was this? No.
I don't remember, but it was
it a Black Mirror episode?
Yeah, it was a Black Mirror, I think.
I thought so. I think it was a Black Mirror episode.
Like that I think people don't, now that we're talking about it, I think that is the most untapped thing that people haven't really truly noticed. That like stuff like that, I think, are going to come into streaming and podcasts and this feeling of interaction. Yeah.
Is that why you started building your community as a whole? Like, do you to some extent really enjoy just emotionally connecting with like-minded individuals?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think we all do too, but I feel, and this is maybe coming from a military background, like I love freedom and I love the people's decisions of things, like democratic republics or whatever. I like the feeling of knowing that other people can have a decision in something. And I truly believe that the good in people come out when we gather together in community sense. Like I think that's the best thing. And so if I can gather people for a good cause, the best result possible will come from it. Especially when it's for a good cause. Whereas like if it's just me coming for a decision and to make something, nothing's like, it's not going to be the best decision as much as if I had everybody else behind me that made the decision with me. I think the people will always take it the right route, even if it's not the best decision for it. It'll be the best decision for it long term, whether that's for it to fail or for it to succeed. If it was meant to fail, then it was meant to fail from the like. If it was meant to fail, it's just meant to fail. Like let it fail. But at least have the freedom for the people to decide how that works.
So you're teaching TikTok Shop to a lot of people today, right? Where are you doing that exactly? What platform?
I do it on School.
Yeah.
So School is also ran with Hermosi and everything.
What's your school called?
Affiliate Formula is my school, but I also have a application. People have to apply for my mentorship because it's just a mentorship. I don't teach like a course or anything. It's just a course. I only do mentorship, long-term mentorship. So if people want to do that, that's all in my socials and stuff. But yeah.
So the reason that I asked that is because I at least wanted people to know, because through our conversation today, I'm sure they're super curious on like, where can I go and learn this? School is an awesome platform, by the way. I don't know how many exactly. I remember them saying a little while ago how many new classrooms are added or communities are added on a daily basis. But I remember being on there probably like a year ago and like navigating some of the people that were starting on School. I'm like, this is really, really cool. But like, it kind of was floating in this weird area. And then it just took off like a rocket ship. Like, it literally went from maybe less than 1 million users to like 9 million. And I have no idea what it's at now, but it at least has to be close to 20. Like, it has to
Yeah,
be
it's something crazy. I have no idea, to be honest now, but
Yeah.
I think it's the best platform. Obviously, I'm biased because I won the school games. I don't have my award next to me, but I won the school games. I got to meet Hermosi and Sam
When was
Ovens.
that? I
It
did
was
see that when I was doing
August.
research on you past couple of
Yeah,
days. Yeah.
that was August of 2024
Okay.
is when I won the school games for that. But and that was like early on still. It's like blown up like crazy recently, but and they have added so many really good features into it. It's literally just community mixed with education. Like any kind of courses is also implemented into a community, kind of like Reddit, I would say. And you can also do like they implemented basically what Zoom is on the platform, so you can live stream with people and have classes. It's like so good. I love it. I think it's amazing. Obviously, I'm biased because I really like their stuff and I've worked with them now. But like yeah, I'm obsessed with it. But
What so tell me, Mr. Winner of the school games, where did this fit in between the $60,000 in debt and the success on TikTok Shop? Was it in the middle, between, after? Where did that sit on this timeline?
this is in between, I guess you'd say. This is in between. Like I said, okay, I'm in a lot of debt. I need to get out. TikTok Shop came, had a lot of success. Really know what I'm doing with it too, and said, okay, people are asking me for help, and I taught my mom, taught my sister, taught my two best friends, um,
And
and
they all had
tons.
success.
Yeah, and they all had success. Like everybody I was teaching directly had tons of success. Was making more than their full time jobs by a
What year
long
was
shot.
this?
This is 2024.
Okay.
And I was like, this is crazy. Like everybody I'm teaching this to is like quitting their jobs to do this full time, or wants to, or is making at least double their incomes on like their full time jobs. This is nuts. So I was like, and someone came to me and was like, hey, you should start like mentoring and teaching and stuff. So I decided, I was like, okay, I need to think long term here before I make a decision. And I was like, obviously, this is not as scalable for me to just make TikTok money. I can't like I can't scale this to a crazy degree and sell this off. Like I can't sell this company, or I don't have. It's just me making TikTok videos. So I need to think of a long term thing here. And my initial avenue is I need to build a social presence, a personal brand. The personal brand is the most valuable thing you can have right now in the world, I believe. So I said, okay, I'm going to do that. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to fund it by mentoring and teaching, because I have success, I have testimonials, it's all working, and I know it works. So let's just keep doing that. And it worked like crazy. Built the personal brand up a ton, building it right now. And I said, okay, my long term thing though is the education is the education, but my long term goal is to start a brand with the presence I've built of the creators and the network of the people I'm teaching. I said, hey, I just taught you TikTok Shop. You're making a ton of money. Can you promote my product now? Like I just did all that for you. Can you help me out a little bit more?
Yeah.
So like I feel like because I've done that, and like I have so many people that are DMing me on TikTok, like, hey, I started TikTok Shop. I learned from you. You don't even know who I am, but I made like $2 million in sales, and I made like my full-time salary because of you. And I'm like, well, I don't even know who you are. And like that stuff happens a ton, and people don't know that. I don't like talk about it because I feel like it's
Yeah.
kind of like weird to like promote that on my socials, because people are like, oh my gosh, you're a scammer. So I just kind of don't even do that now. But I just try to give as much value as humanly possible. I'm like, here's all the free value I could possibly give you. And then if you want to work with me personally, you got to pay me because that's like my time. But
Mm.
and then I'm going to take that money, I'm going to fund it for this project that I'm going to build and scale and sell, which is hopefully this deodorant brand. Obviously that's long term, but like right now I'm just thinking about how do I build this thing properly and with a really good cause that I believe in.
So do you believe you had so much success in school because of what you were teaching, or because you felt like your community was different than any others? Was it more like you were the first person to teach it, or was it that your community was just different and better run than some others on the platform?
I think it was a mix of the fact that there was very limited competition in my industry yet. So it was very blue ocean. And
Mm.
I was one of the only or first coaches in the space. And so everyone flocked to me. And then mixed with the fact that I was just genuine, like I was as genuine as I possibly could be. I said, I will never be tarnished by selling my lifestyle to people. I will never, people don't even know what car I drive, and I drive a nice car. but I don't tell people that. I don't flaunt that in any way possible. I take the Hermosi route of like, I will give you so much value that there is reciprocity and you feel like you need to give me something back. And I feel like that's the most genuine way of selling somebody. And because I did that, it was a counterposition to everybody else. Everybody else was like, here's my Miami car and here's my New York City penthouse or whatever, and like, buy from me. And I'm like, well, that's kind of scummy. I'm not going to do that. And so I just took this what I believe is a more ethical route, and it worked for me. Um, and I think that's what caused my success on School, but also the fact that I had just unrelenting testimonials. Like, who else was teaching their mom, their sister, their two best friends, my physical therapist brother, and like so many. I mean, I could probably, I say conservatively, $22 million in sales in 2 years of the people I've mentored, but I know for a fact it's over 50 million. I just don't have the data to prove it, so I'm not going to say it. Because if someone goes, "Hey, you $22 million in sales, show me the proof," I have it. But I don't. But I know for a fact there's like 50 million that I just don't have the proof for. So
if there's anything that I am taking away from actually building a successful school, it is testimonials, meaning I have proof that I've done this before for others, so therefore we could also do it for you.
100%. Like the beginning of my video of me trying to get people to buy my mentorship is at the beginning, it's just nonstop testimonials. Like I start the video by basically saying, if you want to learn from me, this person, this person, this person, this person, this person, this person, this person. And I literally do it to the point where they feel exhausted by hearing it. And I do that on purpose because I'm like, I have the proof. I know what I teach works. Like I literally say that in the video. Like I know what I teach works because if it didn't, then I wouldn't have 50 plus people that I can just list off right now to prove it. And that's by design.
So to that point, and this is the last piece that I'll leave with School, is if you are the person that is starting a school or wants to start a school and maybe doesn't have the testimonials, is there an avenue to still get started on School where you can prove your validity and your value in educating on that? Or would the route be like, no matter what, go get the testimonials first and then start a school?
Well, I think the average person can start a school and have success and it not be even education. Like that's the big thing is like, we just want to make communities, and like, it doesn't need to be, selling something or even that you need to educate people at all. Like there's so many communities of people that are just like, hey, I like to like sew, and like, we're all just sewing, it's pretty cool. I think that's pretty nice. Like even I'm going to start a community and it's going to be completely free. And it's people to come in and vote on decisions for our brand, for my new brand. And that's a completely free thing. It's just people in there getting free help, free value, and feel like they're a part of something important and meaningful. So I think you don't even need the testimonials. If you're going to do education, yeah, you definitely need testimonials. And the only way to do that is to like do it yourself and then teach other people for free to start and go, hey, look, I just taught all these people for free. These are the people, and I'm getting so flooded by inquiries that I need to start charging. That's what I think the best route is. And then you start a school if you're trying to teach people.
So to your point, I wanted to say when I was in school, I don't know, a couple of days ago, I think one of the top performing communities, I forgot what it's even called. Maybe it's like calligraphy. Maybe that's what it's called. But it's literally drawing in like a specific type of font. It's almost like a signature type of font, a cursive type of font. And it's almost like doing it perfectly with like pen or paint. And like the community has like thousands and thousands of members. I'm like, I didn't even know this existed.
Yeah.
Let alone have a couple thousand members, paying members in this community. I'm like, this is insane.
Yeah.
We have a closing question on this podcast. That is our tradition here. And it's always future looking to close it. And we've obviously had conversations about failure throughout here, but this one has to do with fear. So our closing question on the podcast is, what is your greatest fear moving forward?
My greatest fear moving forward is not taking actions to stay curious towards something. So my greatest fear isn't even the failure itself. It's not accepting that the failure can happen. And so in that form, not doing it at all. I think not doing it at all, and to your point that you mentioned earlier, is like being on your deathbed and finding out that you just didn't take the risk and failed. I'd rather fail and let it let it be and tried. Like the man in the arena quote, like everyone says that, right? Like I'd rather be in the arena and fail because that's more valiant than the person who just stayed on the sidelines. So I think being the person on the sidelines is more of a scaring feeling and fear for me. Yeah.
I completely align with that. Like, I think when I feel like I'm playing it safe and I internally know I'm playing it safe, you feel like a little bit of a wimp, so to speak, right? You feel like you don't have the courage. Like, and courage, when I say courage, it's like doing it despite fear, not doing it without fear, because everybody has the fear, but it's like doing it despite it, right? Jumping in the water anyways, even though it's cold. So I love that. I love that you closed with that. That's awesome. Nick, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. I mean, 2 hours of extreme value here. I mean, we went through pretty much every step you possibly can to be successful building a TikTok shop. And we got a little teaser at the end there, some insight into some school communities. So thank you so much for giving us the couple hours. And also, I'll be honest, I didn't think that you knew you were going to get a little vulnerable today, but I appreciate you being super transparent when it comes to your failures, your fears, and everything in between. So I appreciate you sharing all that with us. So thank you.
Of course. I appreciate it, dude. This is awesome. I love this stuff. So thank you.